Let's break down my worst trading day so far of the year, a negative $15,620 loss. So just about a $16,000 loss in one day. I want to talk about what I think I did really well with this trade, and most importantly, just reflect on how this trade went. So hopefully you guys can learn something, and hopefully I can learn something too. So let's see. Obviously this trade I went into with about 27,000. That was kind of the first issue with this trade, was I was sized in a little heavy. I trade with 25,000 per position size right now. So that's 5% of my account size. 27,000, a little heavy, nothing crazy. When we were trying to get into this trade, as I was on a live session, and I do this every morning, I'm trading live with the team over inside my mentorship group. Well, this order came in on my software. We just got a day trade on the software. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna enter this position. So the software did just send through these Futu calls at 9:36. And you could see my entry was at 9:38. Now, Futu had just released earnings in the morning. So you can see here the earnings call, and why these contracts off the open were moving so much was because of this earnings call. Typically, you're going to see an increase in IV. So there's going to be a lot of implied volatility behind those option contracts you're trading prior to and slightly after earnings. So the IV behind these contracts, plus these obviously were 1 DTE, okay? 1 DTE contracts. Those two things combined led to pretty large spreads, not a ton of volume if I do open up these specific contracts. And you can see here on my broker, negative 15,488 on the day here. Let's look at these contracts, specifically 550 in open interest, about 2,896 in volume. And the closing spread today was, 111 and then 136. So that's a pretty large spread. Anyway, essentially ended up chasing this position, okay? Order came in, like I said, at 9:36. Chased this thing, almost got filled. Let's go ahead, let's send our orders through. 314, 2025, Futu calls. Looks like this spread is moving. You can kind of see the the madness of orders, right? First order at 201, had to cancel that, couldn't get filled. Second order at 242. That order is not getting filled yet. I had an order in. So this just shows you that I was chasing this a bit. And then my third order at 271. And I did get that fill at 271. I don't want to chase this one too much, but I do need to get a fill here. So if I drop my size back down a bit. Okay, I got filled. And then you can see here, my exits here kind of getting filled anywhere between 116 to 118. So I did get in the trade. Once I was filled, well, you can see here, if I pull up my charts, my trade plan. So this long at 109.48 was when the order actually came through on my software. That's not my entry. So I'm going to plot out when the order came through on my software. And what I actually use here is this script that I built on Thinkorswim to determine my stop loss and take profit. Moving, so let's get the algo in here. Long, today is entry price was 109.48, and then I'll send this out to the call out section. Perfect, perfect. So we got our stop loss, we got our take profit. So essentially, I'm going to talk about this in later videos and kind of show you guys how the script works. But what it's doing is it's taking into account the last 30 days. So you can see here, I'm on a 1 minute 30 day. That's where I do all my trading. And it takes into account the last 30 days price movement. Okay, so it's going to look at that specific stock and how that specific stock does trade. And it is going to help me to determine, well, how high could Futu trade on the day, okay? And how low could Futu trade on the day? So taking into account essentially what is called ADR, or average daily range, I'm able to really scale that out and look at the probability of how high or how low based off of when that order came through on my software where I tag, right? How high or how low that trade or this stock, right, might move. And then the algo gives me this green line and it gives me this red line. And then all I have to do is sit back. I had my alert set so I can right click here and create an alert. And if my alert gets hit, then I'm going to close that trade obviously for a win or a loss. So really all in all, I'm only spending about 30 minutes per day trading just because I'm live in front of everyone as I enter these positions between 9:30 to 10. I could get a trade up into 11. And then at that point, if I'm in, I set my alerts. And like I said, set it and forget it. Now, initially off of this entry, if I pull up the running P&L, I was actually up about $20,000. Let's see if it actually did account for it. Looks like it did not. So it looks like Futu is moving. Look at that. That was a nice push, up about 14,000. Gonna detach this and slide this in. Look at that. What a beautiful move. Sweet. All right, we all should be in this trade. Currently up 16,000. Okay, it's about 60%. So sometimes this will more accurately represent what it looked like, what the actual trade scenario looked like. But on the stream, I was up about 18, 19. It got really close to 20 grand. Pulled all the way back. I'm surprised it doesn't show on there, but pulled all the way back, okay? Woo! There goes SPY. Honestly, Futu's holding up pretty well into just about break even. And the interesting thing was, you can see my entry plotter on the chart there, and my exit, okay? Just the separate orders. The interesting thing was that we did trade up to being just about break even at one point. Okay, so we were back up here trading at 109. My entry was around 110. Oh, look at that. Just about 3 o'clock, I was down about $10,000. So that's just going to show you that, you know, these contracts, because of the IV and because of the larger spread going into the day, even though we traded up to about break even as far as our entry point, as far as the current price that Futu was trading at when we entered the trade and where obviously the candles did trade back up into, we were still down pretty significantly because of these contracts. So really not great contracts overall. I stuck to my plan, even being up 20K and closing the day down 15K. I still do consider this, you know, a good trade because I did stick with my plan. Yes, it was my worst trade of the year. $15,000, $16,000 loss. I know it was a lot to comprehend for some of you, but I'm following my plan. I'm following my system. I am now down on the month. So, you know, we'll see what happens at the end of March. Again, I'm down about 2.5% on the month based off of, you know, after today and how this trade played out. But overall, I'm happy with the fact that I did stick to my plan. Wanted to show you guys everything. I'll show you the wins. I'll show you the losses. Didn't quite make it happen today, but we'll be back tomorrow morning live trading. I'll put a link in the description below if you're interested in joining my mentorship. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one.